The new foreign income and gain regime is being introduced on the 6th of April 2025, and it is available for those who are new arrivals into the UK. So you are a new arrival into the UK if you have been a long-term non-resident, which means for the 10 consecutive tax years prior to your arrival, you're considered to be non-resident by means of the statutory residence test. If you are considered to be a new arrival into the UK, then for the first 4 consecutive years from your arrival on, you in principle can make a claim for the foreign income and gain regime or an election for overseas workday relief, and you can look to claim relief on the majority of your foreign income and gains for that period. The kind of the difference between the foreign income and gain regime compared to the remittance basis, which is the current or the old regime for those who are non-dom in the UK, is that actually this foreign income and gains can in principle be brought into the UK without changing the tax approach under the FIG regime. And I think it is worth noting that when it comes to the foreign income and gain regime, you do need to make sure that you basically have to quantify foreign income and gains that you're claiming relief on. The changes are going to affect 2 sets of people. The first set of people that it's going to affect are those who are currently taxable under the non-dom regime and those who are currently eligible for the remittance basis of tax. So the concept of non-domicile from an income tax perspective is going to be abolished from the 6th of April 2025 onwards. So if you have been taxed under the remittance basis and you don't meet the criteria for the foreign income and gains regime from the 25-26 tax year onwards, you are going to be taxable in the UK on your worldwide income if you're a UK tax resident. The other set of people that it might affect are those who meet the criteria of being a long-term non-resident, but actually haven't or wouldn't be eligible for the non-dom regime as things currently stand. In terms of that, we are looking at people who were born in the UK to a UK domiciled father, but who have been outside of the UK for a prolonged period of time, obviously at least for 10 years, but we quite often are speaking to people who've been outside of the UK not working for 15, 20 years, who are looking at coming back to the UK that potentially would actually be eligible for the foreign income and gain regime under the new rules. People who might benefit from the new foreign income and gains regime are those who are new arrivals to the UK. You have to be a long-term non-resident, so you have to have been outside of the UK for at least 10 consecutive tax years, and it has to be non-resident by means of the statutory residence test. So again, for some people who maybe are from the UK but have lived outside of the UK for a number of years, if they have been back in the UK, maybe got stuck in the UK during the pandemic, these sorts of people might end up being treaty resident outside of the UK, but tax resident in the UK by means of the statutory residence test. So as long as you are considered to be long-term non-resident and you're in the first 4 years from your arrival, note that when you arrive in the UK, that's when the clock starts ticking. So it's not your first 4 years of UK tax residence. If you were to arrive in the UK during the 2024-25 tax year, then you would have availability for the foreign income and gains regime in the 25-26, 26-27 and 27-28 tax year. If you happen to be non-resident during one of those years and were to return back, you wouldn't be able to then claim kind of in the 28-29 tax year that you would be eligible for the relief if those 4 years have passed. Those who are eligible under the non-dom regime for the remittance basis, who have been in the UK for at least the 4 years from the 25-26 tax year onwards, are going to be negatively impacted. For example, within their 5th to 15th year of UK tax residence. Under the non-dom regime, even if you had to pay a remittance basis charge, you could in principle apply for relief from UK taxes in certain instances up until you'd been UK tax resident for 15 out of 20 tax years. The way the new rules are going to apply, it's going, the relief is potentially going to be better in as far as you can bring that money into the UK, you have more financial freedom with it. but it will only be available for those first 4 years from arrival in the UK, whereas the remittance basis restricted, where you were going to be able to use that money, but in equal measures, you could get benefits for up to 15 years. I think the only other point to mention in terms of the foreign income and gains regime and the changes associated with it, you're only eligible for relief for the majority of your foreign income and gains. So there are certain income sources that, because you have the ability to bring that money into the UK and make use of it, there are certain income sources that aren't actually relievable under the foreign income and gains regime, even if technically they're foreign income. For example, pension contributions where you've received UK tax relief at source on putting the money into the pension, or for example, offshore chargeable events gains on insurance policies or bonds, I believe. And the reason for that is because you have things like time apportionment relief that you can obtain for the period where you were non-resident.